It's a real honor to be here, judges, fellow panelists. Should I say contestants? At least Anita's nodding her head. And members of the academic community and the Boston community. About a decade ago, on a Sunday afternoon, in my office at Carfax, the Oxford City Center, where I served as rabbi to the students, I received a phone call from a student who told me that he had to speak to me urgently. It could not wait. I told him it's 5 o'clock on a Sunday. He said, I'll be there in a few minutes. He ran over from his college at Magdalen. And he comes into my office, gasping for air, and he says to me, last night, our doctor of divinity gave a speech. And he said that according to the Jewish religion, this is a Church of England pastor speaking, if your father is not Jewish and your mother is, the Jews consider you Jewish. And he said that is exactly my circumstance. And I'm very upset. I said, about what? He said, you're considering me Jewish and I have no desire to be Jewish. I said to him, why are you blaming me? Ask your mother. I had nothing to do with this. He said, well, I researched it on the internet and I discovered that there is something that you can do about it. I said, what is that? He said, you can excommunicate me. I told him, you know, no one has really been excommunicated, at least a high-profile excommunication, since Benedict Spinoza, Baruch di Spinoza in 1656. And so go home, watch some Monty Python, and no doubt you'll wake up better in the morning. He said to me, I'm not going to leave your office until you excommunicate me. Well, I have to get home. It's a Sunday afternoon, so I said to him, look, we rabbis charge $100 for circumcisions, $200 for bar mitzvahs, $300 for weddings, and $400 for excommunications because it costs more to get out than it does to get in. He said to me, do you have a student discount? I told him, are you kidding? If we make it cheaper, we'll just open the floodgates. Tomorrow, every Jewish student in Oxford will want to be excommunicated. He pressed me, and I took out my keyboard, and I typed, I, Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, hereby excommunicate you and all your progeny from the Jewish people, from here, henceforth, evermore. And I gave him this worthless piece of paper. As he left, I said to him, I didn't charge you anything, so you have to answer the seminal question. And he said, I know what your question is. Why? I said, yes, why? Why is it so painful to be considered Jewish? I will never forget his answer. He said to me, I am a historian, and I have read throughout my life of how the Greeks philosophized, how the Roman legions shimmered in a blazing sun. I read about how the Renaissance masters electrified the world with works of extraordinary creativity. And I have read about how the Jews have died, how they were defeated by the Romans, slaughtered by the Crusaders, expelled by the Spaniards, disemboweled by the Cossacks, and cremated by the Germans. And you ask me why. My friends, as he walked out, and as he silenced me with the power of his response, I said to myself, but is it not true that we Jews have given the world its most profound values and its most important ideas? And then I remembered, yes, we had given the world God, but today he goes by the name Jesus Christ. We had given the world the Sabbath, but today it's called Sunday. We had given the world the idea of the brotherhood of all peoples, contained in the writings of Isaiah, Zechariah, Jeremiah, but today it's called the United Nations. We had given the world in Leviticus 19:18 the belief that every human being must love his fellow as himself, but today it's called the Golden Rule and attributed to the Sermon on the Mount. We had given the world the Ten Commandments, and today it's called secular humanism. We gave the world the dignity of the individual, and today it's called democracy, one man, one vote. Every idea we have gifted the world has been not just adopted, but co-opted. And then we wonder why Jews, young Jews especially, do not affiliate with the tradition that could point to almost no impact it has made on the wider world. And the preservation of Jewishness becomes naught but an exercise of the preservation of an ethnicity. A vacuous circular argument. Affiliate with Judaism so that other Jews can therefore, in the next generation, affiliate with Judaism. It doesn't hold water, and it is soundly rejected. The last Jew to actually believe that we Jews had something to say to the wider world was Paul of Tarsus, who was the first person to take Jewish ideas and bring them to a mainstream non-Jewish audience. In so doing, he helped to create the religion of Christianity. And the idea caught on and became the most successful idea in the history of the world. How is it that we cannot see the same? I visited Jamaica to film a television show recently, and I was with the Rastafarians. They all believe they are the new Israel. They wear Magen Davids and they eat essentially kosher food. 20% of all of Jamaica are Rastas. As I flew back, I thought to myself, 1 billion Christians believe that they are the new Israel, in the words of Paul, grafted onto the tree of Israel. 1 billion Muslims believe that they are the true seed of Abraham, even believing that Ishmael was the one who was binded on the mountain with Abraham. 14 million Mormons call themselves the new Israel and call Jews Gentiles. And the only people who don't want to be Jewish are the Jews themselves. We must now employ a fundamentally new approach to Jewish identity. We must erase the division between the Jewish community and the non-Jewish community. Our biblical mandate was to be a light unto the nations. Chosenness is not a state of elitism. God chose us to spread the light of Jewish values, which are universal, to all nations. There are two tiers of Jewish values. The first are those ideas I just articulated, which have indeed been co-opted. And in a book that must be written, we must trace the origin of those values back to their original biblical and Jewish antecedents so that young Jews can take pride in the tradition, which has indeed shaped and molded the modern world. And the second tier of those values are the ones which have remained exclusive to us Jews, which have, for various reasons, been rejected by the world, but can so enrich the world in general, America in particular, particularly this time of its history. Let me give you a few examples. Last week there was an article on the front page of the New York Times castigating John McCain for an alleged affair. You all know the story. And did he use his influence, although he's supposed to be anti-corruption, did he use his influence on behalf of a lobbyist? We saw Bill Clinton go through the same thing. There were negative articles even written about Barack Obama and his affiliation with a businessman, a contributor who may have been slightly shady. Why do all these stories come out every 4 years? Because the mainstream values of the world are that leaders must be perfect. It's based on the model of Christianity where Jesus has no flaws, so much so that if the Da Vinci Code even suggests that he wants the love of a woman and marries, that is seen not just as irreligious but sacrilegious. In the Islamic world, of course, our Islamic brothers and sisters get highly offended if any kind of criticism is lodged at the Prophet, Muhammad. But in the Jewish religion, Abraham makes tons of mistakes. Jacob favors one son over the others. Moses is so flawed that he's not even allowed into the promised land. King David riddled with flaws. So why are these men our heroes? Because we do not define hypocrisy as preaching one thing and practicing another. That's called inconsistency. On the contrary, we reject perfection. The truly great man or great woman is he or she who wrestles with their nature to do the right and to act justly amidst the predilection to do otherwise. That, my friends, is greatness. We know that Martin Luther King, arguably the greatest American of the 20th century, in his private life was flawed, and look at his achievements amidst those flaws. We must invite more people to participate in the public life and not shy away because they're imperfect. Look at the Jewish Sabbath. Yes, it goes by Sunday, but it really wasn't co-opted because the way we practice it is so unique. Tonight there will be the Academy Awards. And it will be a celebration of Hollywood narcissism, of men and women who believe that real achievements involve mimicking some kind of personality in front of a camera. Gone will be those true heroes who do the right because it's right, doing homework with their children, running not-for-profits, and no film will ever be made about their lives, and there will never be a 21-gun salute to their experience, and there will never be some great Hollywood epic celebrating their contribution. But the reason they're the real heroes is that the world is not about attention. That's why so many of our Hollywood celebrities are so damaged.